Zain was an average 16-year-old. He liked games, hated mornings, and had a special talent for doing nothing productive. Today was supposed to be another one of those days. He thought it was a virus. He thought about fixing it. He did not fix it. Zain's approach too. Problems was simple. Ignore them and see what happens. This time, that strategy had consequences. He didn't fall in. He was pulled. There's a difference. One is an accident. The other means something wanted him there. The computer world looked exactly like a computer. If a computer was also a city, a jungle, and a stressful dream. Zain stood there for a solid 30 seconds with his mouth open. Pixel was small, messy, and certain Zain's arrival was either the best or worst thing. He hadn't decided yet. He was leaning toward worst. But he stayed anyway, because broken things recognize each other. There was a countdown clock in the sky with his name on it. Zain had 47 minutes to find the way out before the system deleted him like an unwanted file. Pixel looked up at the clock, then at Zain, then said, "Run." Pixel dragged him through it all, pointing at things with the excitement of someone who had lived here forever. "That is the browser," he said. "Very fast. Never remembers you." He pointed at a rushing figure who didn't look up. "That one is calculator. Only talks in numbers. Do not ask him how he is feeling." And in the middle of it, someone was sitting. Someone who looked like they belonged there. Someone who'd been deleted 3 times and kept coming back. His name was Error. And he was the most dramatic entity Zain had ever encountered. The exit, Error explained, was through the source code. The oldest, deepest part of the computer. Nobody went there because it was guarded by the firewall, surrounded by corrupted zones, and inside it lived something called the root process. The original program that ran everything, including, now, the countdown clock with Zain's name on it. They ran. Pixel glitched left and right, avoiding data packets. Zain ducked under a banner ad for something he'd searched 3 weeks ago. A recommended video auto-played loudly as they passed. The browser zipped by 3 times, each time looking at Zain with 0 recognition. Pixel grabbed Zain's arm before he could look at anything too long. "Do not make eye contact with the content," he warned. Zain looked anyway. Just for a second. That second cost them for minutes and 37 seconds of countdown clock. Zain felt it after 2 minutes inside. His edges started to blur. His outline flickered. Pixel looked at him with wide eyes and said, "We need to be fast. When humans stay here too long, the system starts to think you're a corrupted file." Zain looked at his flickering hand. And what happens then? Pixel was quiet for a beat. The system doesn't restore corrupted files. It stretched left and right as far as either of them could see. And standing in front of it, in a small guard booth, was a figure who looked like the physical embodiment of "I'm going to need to see some ID." Zain tried logic. Pixel tried cuteness. Neither worked. Then Zain tried something different. He told the truth. He was a 16-year-old who'd been pulled into a computer he didn't ask to enter, was being deleted in 17 minutes, and just wanted to go home. The firewall was quiet for a long time. Then it said, "That is the most unauthorized thing I have ever heard." And then it stepped aside. On the other side, everything changed. The light was different, bluer, older. Like a room that hadn't been opened in a very long time. The air hummed with something that wasn't sound. And straight ahead, at the end of a long corridor of original code, was a door. Pixel backed against the wall. "Replacement models," he whispered. "When the system decides to delete something, it makes copies first. To fill the space." Zain looked at his copies, looking back at him. They're going to replace me? Pixel nodded very slowly. They already started. And in the center of it, a figure. Not a program. Not a virus. Something original. The root process. It looked at Zain the way a very old person looks at someone they've been waiting a long time to meet. And it said, "You took longer than I expected." Zain stared. Then said, "I didn't build anything. I'm 16. The root process was quiet in a way that felt like patience. Then it said, "The file. In your downloads folder. The one from 3 years ago. The one you made and forgot about." And somewhere in Zain's memory, something clicked. The error messages. The flickering screen. The warning, "User detected." It hadn't been a virus or a malfunction. It had been the computer trying to get his attention. For 3 days, his computer had been trying to show him something. He'd ignored it. Because Zain's approach to problems was to ignore them. It was targeting the thing he'd accidentally created. And Zain was attached to it now, which meant the deletion order covered both of them. Finish what you started, the root process said. Give it an ending. And the system will recognize it as complete and leave it alone. Zain held it. Something that felt like a word felt like a weight. He thought about errors sitting on his throne in the recycle bin. Dramatic and lonely and 3 times deleted. He thought about what it felt like to be named after your worst moment. And he took the file. The moment he finished, something changed. The countdown clock in the sky stopped. The deletion order paused. The root process made a sound that might have been relief. The unfinished thing was finished. The system recognized it. And somewhere in the deeper code, something that had been waiting 3 years finally, quietly, completed itself. He didn't say thank you. He just looked at Zain and said, "You finished something today." It wasn't a compliment. It wasn't a question. It was just an observation. The kind that lands anyway. Pixel quietly grabbed Zain's sleeve. They left Error alone with his name. Some things you need privacy for. Pixel stood next to him at the edge of it. They'd known each other for 47 minutes. Which sounds like nothing. But 47 minutes in a place like this, running from deletion and firewalls and glitch clones, has a way of becoming something. The computer screen was still on. Normal desktop. Normal wallpaper. Nothing flickering. Just his messy room and his old computer. And the morning light coming through a gap in the curtains. 47 minutes had passed. It was still morning. He was back. He looked at his room. At the 3 empty juice boxes. At the homework he'd been ignoring. At the list of things he'd been meaning to do. That had somehow never happened. He thought about what the root process had said. About Pixel standing whole and stable. About Error quietly receiving something he'd lost. If you've ever had an unfinished thing waiting for you, you know what this is about. Subscribe to Brain Blips. New story every week. And maybe, just maybe, finish the thing.